Alright, welcome to another episode of Soto Desperado Plays Ark Survival Ascended. I'm just getting these females I just generated kind of in position. Trying to consolidate. So I got a female with weight and a female with melee, which is awesome. And this female should be available. I think the other two are not available. That's no, and this one, no. But this one should be, yeah. So, okay. So I got 3 females. Melee, weight, and whatever this other one is. Stamina. Okay. So, I have a male with 2, weight and food. I can just breed him into all of them and see if that'll work. This one's not available. This is the melee male. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and just breed this one with 2 stats on him. And we'll see if we can get that done. Always like raptors. I like tech raptors more though. Tech raptors are the ones that I like the most. So the stamina and the melee can go well with the weight and food. I'm trying to get 3 stats on the male. And kind of go from there. There we go. So they're all mating. And that's it. So this melee, I'll put him back over here with the health. And she can go in line over here because she's trying to wait. Now, a lot of people don't think raptors are worth spending your time with. I always like raptors. Like I said, I like tech raptors. But I don't see any tech raptors in this game, in Ark Survival Ascended. They're supposed to be like an extinction thing, from what I understand. So I'm hoping that later on maybe they'll add them in. But, you know, I'm doing the regular raptors. I had like over 20 of them in there, so I had to get rid of them. They also have, some of them have characteristics I don't understand, but I'm not worried about that. I'm just trying to consolidate. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to start playing some videos. Had to do some updates that took forever. Now this guy's a new guy called Watch This. Why people don't want to work anymore? Well, probably because they're depressed.
So I see on social media it's pretty common to see people saying they don't want to work anymore or they don't want a job anymore. And you know, people are kind of weighing in on that from both sides, saying people are too lazy, people saying it's just too hard. And I'm more into the camp of what's the point? You know, I don't want to be a mooch. I still want to have a job. I've worked consistently for 15 plus years. I've been working for a long time. I'm a man in my mid 30s. I've been working for a long time. Not as much as a lot of other people, but it's just I can sympathize with all the people saying, what's the point? I don't want to do it anymore. And it's not because I'm a lazy person. It's because there's just nothing to show for it at the end. And you know, for the most part, I'm fine with just getting by so long as I can get by. But full-time work isn't even enough to get by anymore. You know, working 40 hours a week, which, you know, say what you want about that being too much or too little. When you're telling me this is full-time employment, legally, and it's 40 hours every week and it's not enough to pay my gas or bills or, you know, whatever miscellaneous, whatever, rent, it's just not enough. Getting by is now not like getting by isn't even like a luxury anymore. Now that's the goal. The goal is to get by, and people go about this in different ways. They get a side hustle, they get a second job, they do whatever. But I think the reason more or less people don't want to work right now is just because there's nothing to show for it at the end. There's no piece of land to work. There's no house to buy. There's the only reward you get for being a good employee is extra work. They just give you 2 people's or 3 people's worth of a job. How do I phrase that? They give you like a 2-person job, and they just tell you to do it by yourself. Or for some people it's 3. For rare it's probably 4. But they're just trying to cut corners as much as they can. All these giant corporations and everything, I mean, they just want more for less. That's more or less the only takeaway I want you to hear is that these companies just want more for less. That's why people are so burdened. That's why they're so stressed. That's why they're checking out of, employment, full-time employment. They just want to see their hands produce something, the fruit of their hands, the labor. They just want to see something. They want to see a vision of what's at the end of this job. When I clock in every day, what is it building towards? What is it leading towards? What is the life? Not even necessarily the picturesque life. Just like, what is my vision? What is the goal here?
I'm sorry, but it's just survival.
At my last job, I was let
There's
go
no progress on this
because I
planet.
was absent too many times
Unless
for
you
being
get lucky.
sick.
Or a hard worker.
I got the cold, and then I got COVID, and I just missed too many days. So that's unfortunate, but that's just kind of how it is. But at my last job, I talked to my supervisor maybe like a few weeks before I got let go, and I told him like, hey, can I negotiate like a new wage or something, because I'm having trouble just getting by. And I told him in these exact words, I said, I'm just occupying my time here because my full-time work is not enough to just get by. And so he just was like, oh yeah, no, people in California, they're just living paycheck to paycheck. That's just, everyone's doing the same thing, man. And it's like, he brought it back around to, oh, but you gotta just make sure you're being productive and watch your productivity, and maybe you could work up, and because poor productivity does reflect on your performance. And he just, like, what I said went right over his head, that this job is wasting my time. And I still showed up every day until the day they let me go for being sick too many times. Granted, it was a temp agency, so they had every right to kick me out. This employer didn't have to keep me. I just went over a hardline threshold of absences because I was just a temp. I was on probation as far as my hiring onboarding period goes. Some person that I probably never even met was the person that pulled the trigger on my contract termination, if that's how you want to phrase it. But I was telling my supervisor, like, I'm just sort of here. I'm just occupying my time because my full-time work is not even enough to get by. And he just made it about productivity. Well, just be more productive and try to work up, and he's just cared about managing the company's bottom line. There's no humanity in what he was explaining to me. There was
you're looking for that in a business person.
He was just a manager. In fact, he didn't even work there. He didn't get hired to be a manager from within the company. He got hired on from outside the company with previous managerial experience, and because he was just a supervisor somewhere else, so they hired him to be the supervisor of us. They hired a stranger who didn't know anything about our production or the company, and they hired a stranger to come in and essentially just walk around like they just hired someone off the streets to be our boss that didn't know anything about the company or have any rapport with anyone there. And they actually hired 3 managers that weren't promoted from within the company. And I thought that was really odd. But
Not really.
I'm just sort of rambling at this point. Sorry if this is just a rambling video. I'm just kind of ranting. But yeah, people just need to see something at the end of this full-time employment.
The only thing at the end of employment is death.
Sorry, somebody's throwing up right now. But yeah, there just needs to be a fresh vision, a goal, something to put your hands towards, something to work towards. But a lot of people are just fed up with not having anything to show for their work. And I guess that's it. I can get into the reasons why I think people are struggling right now, but I want to wait for this person to stop throwing up. I don't know if you can hear it, but anyways, that'll probably do it for this video.
I got triplets there. See, there's a lack of motivation to succeed when, like, I went ahead and earned a bachelor's degree and I couldn't get in to save my life because I was too honest. An honest man doesn't get very far in this world. That's for damn sure. So, you know, the scumbags, the liars, the tricksters, the manipulators, they're the ones that get the opportunities. And they're going to put them in charge and make sure all the slaves do their job. So he went to somebody who's a professional sellout, selling us out to the man. That's what he does for a living, that manager. He sells us out to the man. And that's all he does for a living. And he went over there and expected to get money out of that guy. The only way you get money out of these assholes is if you kiss their ass or you have leverage. Okay? Either way, you can get money if you have leverage. In other words, you got some dirt on them or something. As bad as that sounds, that's what it takes. Or you kiss ass and you know them personally and all this. You can, over years, develop a rapport with these people, but I've noticed that they honestly don't really care because it doesn't affect them personally. So that's why I don't bother, going to management. I used to go try to ask for raises and shit, and they're going to give me whatever the fuck they want to give me. And if I don't like it, there's the door. And they won't be mean and tell it that way to you because they don't want to be politically incorrect. They'll just reward it. I keep hearing something. I think the people outside are jamming or something. see. I'm trying to get this last one. There we go. Well, all these are fails, so I can kill all of them. No mutations that I want. So anyway, in a minute I'll go ahead and look at these stats and see if they look good. They should be okay. Clean up that mess. Alright, let's get another video going. That guy was watch this. I'm going to go ahead and subscribe to the guy. I try to put out subscriptions so that people can, you know, get some of that fake hope. But anyway, here we go. This one is the markets are out of control. It says, here comes more cheap money. Markets go wild as debt explodes. Homeowners barely hanging on. It's a pretty recent video, like an hour ago. Jeremiah, baby. There we go.
So, an absolutely beautiful night. My good friend Enrique came over, and we were just talking about a few things. Nugget wanted to come out and say hi to everybody. People are always asking about how she's doing, how Mimi's doing. Mimi's doing great. Everybody's doing great, right? Love this dog. Anyways, a lot has transpired in the last day. And what we're seeing now is this honeymoon in the markets. And so as soon as the election was over, Dow was up 1,500 today. It was a little bit flat compared to what we just saw, but markets across the board up, and they're at all-time highs. S&P up, NASDAQ way up today. But you did something a little unusual while everybody's out enjoying the party. What did you do?
So I pretty much was watching the markets ever since the election took place. I did see that everything was really high. Cryptos went really high. Many stocks went they ballooned a lot. So I decided to sell the majority of my stock holdings. So I was very vigilant, and I decided to pull the trigger right before market closed today. And I said, I'm out.
And the majority was Tesla, you said?
Yeah, I had a lot of Tesla stock. I had a lot of different stocks over the years, but just little by little, I just started putting a lot more money in Tesla as the years went by, and I did have quite a bit of a gain there, and I decided that it was a good time. I thought it was a real good time to take advantage of the fact that there's a lot of people piling in right now in these markets. This is all euphoria. I know it's euphoria. I don't know how long this euphoria is going to last. But I did want to take advantage of the fact that Tesla stock has gone up quite a bit the last week or two. And like I said, right before market close, I saw a good opportunity for me to be able to cash out the majority of my holdings. I still have some risk assets, in the stock market, but it's not that much. I just want to make sure I have a little bit of exposure. It's nothing too big. If it decides to tank a bit, I don't mind. But the majority of my money is safe now. I pulled it out of the stock market, so I feel very good about that decision.
And we were watching what Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway's been doing. They've cashed out $325 billion, now sitting on the sidelines, this massive war chest that Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway have built up. So that has to be a warning of something, right? They have to be expecting something to happen. And my concern is now we're going to see some type of sabotage with these markets. Now that there's a new administration, whether you like it or not, there's a new administration. The question is now, will there be some type of sabotage towards this new administration? And one of those would be, could they possibly crash these markets deliberately?
Yeah, and the thing is it's very difficult to predict these kinds of movements in the stock market. And a lot of the times, if it feels good for you, if you feel like you've made a good amount of gain, I always say that, hey, it's better to have some gain than no gain, because sometimes what will happen is if that stock market flips, it could happen at any moment. Anything in this world could take place that could tank the stock market, and it could be for a period of months, weeks, months, or years that you will be holding the bag.
So let me ask you
These
this.
are useless males.
Just your opinion,
Right.
Yeah.
not financial advice. Do you believe
Nah,
we're going
it's
to see a
not worth it.
massive correction or collapse in the stock market coming? I mean, nobody can predict it. Do you think we'll see one within the next 12 months?
I really do think that this market could definitely switch on us. At one point, we could
Jason
have
has weight
the
in
market
melee.
tank 20, 30, 40%.
So I'm gonna
And
keep
like I
that
said,
one.
it's unbeknownst. It could just happen out of...
These are females.
Stop waiting for holiday
These
deals.
females have
Telemobile
true stats,
offers
so
unbeatable
the females
savings
are
all
good.
year round. It's time to say goodbye to overpriced phone bills and hello to incredible savings. Telo's got you covered.
the blue. Anything could happen in this world that'll happen to tank. And if you do have cash available, you may be able to get some good deals out there.
Yeah, I think some huge opportunities are coming. You know, another thing I wanted to share with everybody was, as I was looking through social media today, I've noticed more and more realtors, real estate agents that were posting, 6 months ago, 7 months ago, 8 months ago, they were posting daily, their vacations, their new listings, their sales. I've noticed that a lot of these same people have not sold a house now in over 5 months, 6 months, 7 months. And it's becoming more and more obvious that the housing market is in a collapse. And when I read this article that I was reading today on CNBC, Airbnb misses on earnings but squeaks in a revenue beat. A lot of these people that bought these short-term rentals, people, I know people. They were going to be real estate moguls, buying 2, 3, 4, 5 houses to put out onto Airbnb. Now those homes are not renting, and they are stuck with 3, 4, 5 mortgages.
Yeah, and not only that, but I personally know several people that have not been able to make good money on their Airbnbs. They're losing money. They're losing a lot of money, and it's getting more and more difficult as the months go by with the rising expenses behind maintaining all these Airbnbs. Just because you're not making money, everybody around you, they still want to get paid. So it's just getting worse over time, and it's going to get to a point where these people are going to have to get rid of their Airbnbs, or at least the excess fat, pretty much. Anything that they cannot afford, they're going to have to find ways to be able to get rid of it.
Now, if they bought these Airbnbs at the wrong times, maybe like 2022, they're more than likely upside down, depending where they're at. But more than likely, if they don't figure in the closing costs, the commissions that go with all this, they're upside down. It's just interesting. A couple of years ago, I warned people that were in the real estate business, make sure you're putting money away. And most people didn't. They went out and they were taking, vacations. They were eating at fancy restaurants. They were putting in swimming pools, whatever. And just thinking that this whole thing, which was completely artificial, by the way, too. When you have the Fed buying mortgage-backed securities, the Fed, putting mortgage rates down below 3%, and then you're giving people free money. Of course, everybody was going to go out and try and buy a house, and now we have a housing bubble. Well, now things have changed. And so these same people that were in the business, also people in the mortgage industry, also paying a severe price here. Now these people, the same people that were telling you to go buy a house, can't even make their house payments now because according to the data, 47% of realtors last year did not even sell one house. What do you think about that?
I think that that's true, and I really do believe that. I personally, when I see people that I talk to, I've talked to several people, and sure enough, realtors, they're out there recycling the same properties on social media, trying to get rid of them. They basically go in there and they take new video, they take new pictures, they change the listings. They try to do everything they can to make it look like it's a fresh property because they cannot get rid of it.
Discount the price $1,000 like that's going to do anything, or $5,000 like that's going to do something. But it's interesting that, also when I was watching these people on social media, they would be braggadocious that, we just sold this house for $100,000 over asking price, $50,000 over asking price, and just bragging about that. And I wonder now if they, to the realtors who sold their clients a home $100,000 over asking price, I wonder if they're going to be answering the phone to their clients now, who completely overpaid for these properties. I wonder if they're going to hold any of these agents accountable, and these same agents would probably never even answer the phone when these same people call them going, hey, why did you sell me a house and tell me to buy a house $100,000 over asking price, and now prices are beginning to go down, sellers have disappeared, we cannot unload, or nobody's renting our Airbnb, what do you think the realtors are going to do now as their phones ring off the hook of going, why isn't my house selling, and why did you tell me to buy this overpriced listing?
Yeah, they're pretty much going to ghost them. And the thing is all this money is pretty much obliterated. So it's money that's basically in thin air now. It no longer exists.
No.
It's gone. Your equity has disappeared, and now what are you going to do?
Isn't it funny? It's really not funny, but you know, it was the car dealer saying you better buy this car because we're not going to get any more. You need to pay, you know, $10,000, $20,000 over MSRP. The realtors were telling you to spend $50,000 or $100,000 over the listing price, or you wouldn't get it. And now I'm seeing. Well, listen, we drove 6,000, or we flew 2,000, drove 4,000 miles in the south, and we saw nothing but the car lots, truck lots, and RV lots packed with inventory.
Yeah, and it's still happening. There's a lot of different spots. These dealerships, they're getting creative now, and they actually, a lot of their inventory is not even on site. They have different spots around the country that they are storing a lot of these vehicles. You won't even know that they're from dealerships. They're hidden from the general public, and it's thousands of vehicles just rotting away. And yet they told all of us, you better buy now. This is 2 years ago, 3 years ago. You better buy now because you'll never get this car again. And now they have so many cars that they're parking these things in office garages. They're parking them in abandoned malls, abandoned restaurant lots. I've seen this. I've shot many videos on this where we've come across these vehicle lots where they're just parking cars everywhere, and they're just sitting out in the element, wasting away. But they told us we better buy a car and pay $10,000 over for it. Well, the realtors were telling us to do this for years, and now, as much as I keep getting so sick of what they keep repeating every day, is that there's just a shortage of inventory. Look, if you want to buy a house, there are houses out there. I think that this is a complete exaggeration, the shortage of inventory. What there is a shortage of inventory is qualified buyers. That's what there is a shortage of inventory. We have so many homes going up right now, so much multifamily going up. We saw homes and multifamily across this country going up everywhere. I just wonder where the buyers are going to come from. Here's another one from Redfin. The number of renter households is growing 3 times faster than the homeowner households. Does that concern you? Yeah, it does. And the thing is we've said this in different videos where not everybody's cut out to be a homeowner. There are a lot of renters in the United States, and I feel like that is going to grow over time. It's going to get very expensive to be able to own a home, and it's going to become a luxury, a real luxury, especially with the property taxes going up every year, and people's spending power getting eroded by inflation, and also the fact that the insurance companies, it's going to be very difficult to get insurance. Some parts of the country, you can't even get insurance. You're pretty much just risking it.
You made a comment months ago on the channel, and you just talked about it's not a matter of buying a home. It's a matter for the people that already own a home, keeping the home.
Keeping the home.
Can you elaborate on that? Because now, more than ever, that is becoming more and more true, with just like what you said, the insurance, taxes, all that.
Yeah. And the thing is we're getting into a situation right now where there's a lot of people that are retiring, and then you have like the older population. A lot of them are passing away. I've seen this over the years.
Or downsizing.
Downsizing, or either passing away. So what happens sometimes too is you'll have a family, you have a husband and wife. They have already had children. They pass away. Sometimes they have a pretty large house, and they're able to afford it because they have the savings for it. And then you have the children come in, and they cannot afford that house anymore because that house requires a lot of upkeep. So what do? They have to sell it. And a lot of times they don't even live in the same county or in the same state where the parents did. So they have to just offload it. They can't even afford to live on it anyways because either the property taxes are too high, or the insurance is very high, or the electricity bill is really high, and it's just too much maintenance for them.
Great point. So between all the new construction, between the people aging, passing away, or downsizing, retiring, between the short-term rentals, Airbnb, VRBO, where people now cannot rent these homes out, there's a lot more homes coming on the market. I'm watching this market every day. I see a lot of homes coming on. They're staying on the market longer. I'm seeing more price reductions. And now we're in an economy where people are losing their jobs. Real wages are not keeping up with real life. And it's going to be very, very difficult. Like Enrique said, it's going to become a luxury to own a home between the HOAs, the insurance, the taxes, maintenance, high utility costs, job losses. This is going to get really, really difficult. So I hope if you are in the business, the mortgage business, real estate business, I hope you put money away during the good times, because this business now is collapsing. Another article today from The Hedge, worse off now, real wages have declined since November of 2020. You care to elaborate on real wages not keeping up with real life?
Yeah, the thing is most of the people around around you, more than likely their wages haven't kept up. You can see it. Someone making $25 an hour is not enough. Someone making even $30 an hour. If it's just one person, you may be able to get by. But if it's a family of 3, a family of 4, unfortunately, in most cases, you have to make over 6 figures now. And even then, you still struggle.
You know, when we were out in the Temecula area, we shot a video, I don't know how many months ago, but you made another great point where we talked about, you know, the 2-person income. But what if the husband or the wife loses a job? Now it's a 1-person income. They're in big trouble. And you said, literally, and I will always remember this, is it's literally a 3-person income now. That, you know, it's going to take 3 people in a household, or people are going to have to start renting out rooms in order to keep things going.
Yeah, not only that, but right now, the fact that the job market is kind of iffy, you also get to a point where employers, if you have someone that you've been working for many, many years, they will try to find ways to be able to get you to leave without them having to pay you severance. So that is also a thing you have to be very careful about. The fact that just because you have an employer, you've been there 10, 20, 15, 20 years, these employers, a lot of them, they don't want to be able to pay severance, or maybe they say, hey, you know what, this employee, they're getting paid too much. Maybe I want to replace them with someone else. And so they will try to find ways to be able to avoid paying you severance. All that money, they can use it for other stuff. You know, they can use it to pay their management more, or they can use it to pay other employees. So you have to be very wary of that. The fact that, yes, you can have 3 people working in a house, but if one person loses their job, that could be the difference between being able to afford where they live or having to go live in a car or even in a van. We don't even know.
And just to add to that, I think I spoke about this yesterday. Half of small businesses in America last month, and I want you to talk about this, last month, half of small businesses in the United States of America could not pay their rent.
Yeah, and I do believe that that's true. But I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that a lot of people are spending a lot of money in places they don't need to. So if you go out to the mall, if you go out to these sports games, or even if you see on social media, a lot of people are traveling right now. They're spending money on unnecessary things. So I feel like a lot of people haven't woken up to the fact that we are not in a situation right now. I mean, yes, you can treat yourself here and there, but I feel like the spending is still out of control. A lot of people cannot hold back. They need to make sure that they spend their money responsibly. It's getting to a point right now where they're not affording it because they're spending it on useless things.
In closing, really quick, Enrique wanted to announce his new channel that he's starting. A lot of you in the comment section said, hey, Enrique should have a channel. And so Enrique's going to have a channel now.
2 good pieces.
Go ahead. What's the channel name? How do they find you?
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and my channel, it's actually called Enrique Reacts. So I will be vlogging certain things about my life. Some things are going to be financial related, some things are not, but at the end of the day, I'm going to try to provide good content for everybody. And for the most part, like I said, I want to be able to teach people certain things, you know, about finances and about how to improve themselves, and just in general. That's my whole objective here on YouTube, is to be able to have other people learn from either my mistakes or to be able to show people certain things for them to be able to improve themselves as well.
And Enrique, in my opinion, is a real gamer. And what I mean by that is this guy boxes, he does jiu-jitsu, he's very aware of what's happening in the economy. He is one of these guys that personally in his own financial life doesn't overspend. He's really walking the walk. So there's very few people that I can attest do that. But this is one of the people that I have a lot of respect for because he does walk the walk. He's very multi-dimensional, and I've said this many times. You cannot be one-dimensional with what is happening right now. And I know a lot of people out there are going to get complacent because we have a new administration, and they believe that miracles are going to take place. And look, I think some good things are coming, and I think that this gets us on the right track. But don't get complacent. I do believe that we're going to see some sabotage. I do believe we're going to see some trickery take place. I do believe we're going to see some attacks on the financial system take place and be blamed on this new administration. That's my personal opinion. I pray to God that this whole thing goes smoothly and that we're in this new utopia, this new economy very, very quickly. But it doesn't work that easily when you're $35+ trillion in debt and you're running massive deficits. You're paying $1 trillion on interest on this debt, and we have multiple wars going on right now. A lot of things need to be diffused. And of course, the manufacturing situation where we're importing literally everything from around the world, mostly Asia. We don't have factories built right now to just start manufacturing tomorrow. So look, I pray for America. I'm optimistic. I think we're heading in the right direction. But I think that if you think that there's not going to be some rough times coming, you are drinking the Kool-Aid. So don't get complacent. Again, don't be one-dimensional. Be multi-dimensional. Get your health taken care of, get your finances taken care of, make sure you're walking close to God, get your spiritual side intact with God. So it's multi-dimensional. Would you agree?
I agree. I think you have to, every single day, you have to make those steps to be able to improve. Anything you see that you can improve upon, do it, because at the end of the day, over the years, you're going to look back at yourself, you're going to say, wow, what a change. And it's just little by little, day by day, just baby steps.
It's not easy. Jiu-jitsu is not easy, right? Boxing's not easy.
No.
And none of this stuff is easy. Saving your money, not buying stuff you don't need, it's not easy. It's tempting to go out and do all this stuff. And there's things you can do that are more fun with your money. There's things you could do more fun with your time than jiu-jitsu and boxing. Some people really, really enjoy it. I do it because of the structure and the discipline and just having those skill sets. But it teaches you discipline. It puts you in very, very uncomfortable situations, positions that you need to think about how to get out and push your body and your mind on how to solve it and get out. Because if something happens in real life, you're always going to go back to your skills, whether it's financial, spiritual, physical. You're going to go back to the skills.
You're
And
going
if
to
you
go back to
don't
whatever
have
you
the
learned.
skills, you're going back to zero. So this is the time right now to be adding to your skills multidimensionally.
Yeah, repetition. I think it's very important. Obviously, when you go and you do any type of sport, whether it be boxing, jiu-jitsu, or if you want to do other types of sports, you want to make sure that you do it over and over and over again, and eventually it'll stick. But it's just a matter of you, whether or not you have the persistence to be able to do it day by day, week by week, month by month.
Don't quit.
Don't quit.
Don't quit, because
Don't quit.
it also teaches you too, if you're in business, if you're competing for a job, if it's real life and you're dealing with some negativity, these things teach you don't quit. Quitters lose. And these skill sets, are going to teach you not to give up, not to quit. And that's why I think it's good for everybody to do. I think it's fantastic for kids to do. And of course, having those defensive skills, because crime is not going away anytime soon. And inflation's not going away anytime soon. The devil's not going away anytime soon. We're going to be we're going to be getting tested here. A quick forecast I'm going to make tonight is I think we're going to see serious trouble with this economy and the stock market in 2025. That's a forecast, not a guarantee. But, a lot of things I've said over the years have come to fruition. And here we are. And, of course, I thought this administration, the new administration, would win. They did. But I do believe we're going to see serious economic and a serious problem, a serious correction, collapse in the stock market in 2025. What do you think?
I agree. I think that it's just gotten a lot too frothy, and that's one of the reasons why, again, I decided today, I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just get out of these markets. I'm going to let them cool down. If I see an opportunity, I might jump on it, but for the most part, I'm out. I might delve back in here and there, but I just feel like right now is a good time just to be on the sidelines.
And really quick, we've now had the second rate cut. I do believe we'll get another rate cut in December. why are they cutting rates if everything is so good? I mean, look, the stock market is at all-time highs. Gold's going up again. Oil's going up. They're telling us wages are going up. GDP's going. Everything's going up. Why in the world are they cutting rates if everything is so good? To me, they should be doing the opposite. We're not near the 2% inflation target yet, and everything is going up. So, and of course, food prices are not going down. Service prices are not going down. So why in the world are they cutting rates in this environment?
Yeah. Well, the thing is it's very difficult to find out what's the reasoning behind that. The only thing I can tell you, and I've seen this over time, sometimes these types of actions by the Fed, they will have an opposite effect on the markets. So there's a possibility that by them doing this right now might actually tank the stock market temporarily. So we don't know, but I have seen over the years, sometimes what people think is going to end up happening because of certain actions, it actually turns out to be the opposite.
And these will have delayed reactions that will happen in 2025, these rate cuts.
Yes. So I don't know. I really do think that these actions that the Fed are taking right now, I think that it might have an opposite effect of what people are looking forward to.
Really quick as we close, how to get to your channel again?
Yeah, so it's actually Enrique, Enrique, and then Reacts, Reacts. So you can find me there, and I'm going to be posting many videos. I'm going to do my best to be able to have a consistency for you and to be able to provide good quality content.
Give him some love. He's walking the walk, ladies and gentlemen. He's a good guy. I'm going to leave it there tonight. Have a wonderful day. God bless every one of you. Please like, share, and subscribe. Enrique, thanks for coming by. And as usual, look forward to speaking to each and every one of you very, very soon. Be safe out there. Take care. God bless.
At least there's a little bit less lag over here for some reason. I had a lot of lag every time I come over here. I mean, the whole thing like freezes. Even inside my base, it would freeze. I thought it was my PC. Alright. Let's get over here. Try to do the lava cave. Lava cave have some good shit in it sometimes. That's where I got a lot of good shit. I'm doing the 2 caves that matter, that are easy to do, and I just fly in there, get my shit, and get the fuck out, you know. Yeah, these guys have hit multiple points. When the shit hits the fan, you're going to remember everything you were taught. Just like in the military, you'll remember your training. You will remember your training. When you start hearing bullets flying over, you will remember your training and how you were taught to react. Same thing in the civilian sector. You'll remember your skills, what you know. You know, have electrical skills, you remember your electrical skills. You remember how to survive. You have survival skills. Fighting skills, you know how to fight. Stuff like that. It's a natural reaction, I think, anyway. That's Jeremiah Baby. Now, there's a new one. This guy. Oh, no, he's not. Why the UK is such a miserable place.
I left the UK 13 years ago when I was 23 years of age. Now, I'd love to sit here and say, oh, you know, I saw the writing on the wall and whatnot, and I had to get out before I got too late and everything else, but that wasn't really the case. I just had an opportunity to work abroad for 1 year initially. Anyway, it's 13 years now. However, I did grow up from the age of 11, 12, when I went on holiday to Australia. I came back, and ever since that day I told my parents and my friends like I was always going to leave England at some point. And I just knew at that age England was shit. Like it was just crap. Now as I got older, from my teenage years, I was trying to be a tennis player, right? So I travel a lot. Travel to various countries, Australia, New Zealand, America, all around Europe. So I got to see quite a bit of the world, and it just confirmed that feeling I had even from that young age, that England was crap. And by the time I left, I remember a few weeks before I left, it was the riots that kicked off in North London, and then they just went nationwide. I remember thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, I'm glad I'm leaving this place. And every time I went back throughout the years, it just confirmed to me that it was a great decision to stay here. And then my friends and my family would come over, and hearing them speak about it and then seeing it from afar and so on. Now, I haven't been back in 6 years. I plan to go back next summer, but everything I see from afar, everything I hear from the people that I love, it's a completely failed society. And there's multiple reasons for it, right? You know, some of the reasons, I can't list all the reasons here, you know, a lot of the reasons, inflation's through the roof. Inflation's just destroyed people's wages, especially middle class, lower. Middle class essentially almost being eradicated at this point. Right, I mean, the education system it's just an indoctrination system, especially like the universities. There's so many other issues to it. There is the class issues as well. You know, you have the lower class, you have the working class, the middle, and then the upper, and they all just hate each other. All the classes hate each other. And here's the thing as well, you know, it's the classes, right? People don't want to get out of their own class system. They complain about the classes. They complain about the state they're in, where they live. If they're like lower to working class, they complain all the time about the money, and they complain about everything shit and yada yada, and there's nothing to do, and there's no jobs and everything else. And then when people try and get out of that, it's definitely tall poppy syndrome going on. People try and drag you down, crabs in a bucket. They try and pull that person down. They see someone trying to do better than them. Even like a self-defeating, self-deprecation sort of thing. Like you try and this sort of fake humbleness about English people. You're trying to, almost have this guilt about trying to do better. You know, that's a big thing, and everybody's miserable, bro. Everyone's miserable, and it's the weather, right? The weather is miserable, of course. Everyone knows, like, seasonal disorder, the affective disorder, whatever that's called. I think that has some part. But there's a lot of places in Europe that have awful weather, and people are a lot happier than English people. English people are really miserable. They love to complain all the time. And like I said, they love to complain, but don't really do anything about it. And even when they try and do something about it, they'll still try and put themselves down, or others will put themselves down. And then the politicians in charge are completely and utterly corrupt. I mean, politicians all around the world are completely corrupt, but I don't know, it seems pretty bad. It seems pretty bad in England, and it's becoming more and more of a totalitarian society, right, and a police state, and the government is getting more and more involved in people's
Nazis,
lives, and people's individual and sovereign rights are disappearing, and it's a nanny state, bro. It is also a nanny state. Like, it's so pathetic. Like, the bureaucracies rule the UK. It's crazy. The amount of red tape in the UK is unbelievable. It's so funny. I moved to Cyprus here. Cyprus, when I first moved here, it's starting to creep in now. But when I first moved here, there was like zero red tape. You to the point, like, some things were actually kind of a bit dangerous when you're talking about like building or roadworks or something. But it was so refreshing. And then people in the UK, they want, it's so weird. They want government to come in and sort of dictate every aspect of life. People actually want it. And when someone steps out of line and someone does something that no one agrees with, they, leave the bins out a day early, they'll write to the council, and they'll complain. They'll be on the phone to the police, or someone didn't indicate left at a roundabout, and they'll take a snapshot of that person's registration number and stick it on the internet and say, oh, this guy never indicated left. This crap like that. And it's it's pathetic, and that is why, you know, that is why it's becoming such like why the government is encroaching on people's individual freedoms and liberties, because, you know, these people essentially want it. They want to be taken care of. They feel like things are so crap. They want to advocate their own responsibility and just blame the government and let the government come in and try and fix things. Sorry to say, but that's never the case. The government creates these problems so they can have the illusion of fixing them. And then, of course, you know, you're talking about immigration and mass illegal immigration, and people are fed up of that. And there was Brexit as well that was promised to cut down on that, and it's been the opposite. They're actually letting more than ever. And you might say, well, this is ironic coming from an English guy living abroad, but you know, I did things the right way. And when I tried to enter this country, Cyprus said, you know, sorry, we're full for the year, we're full, no more foreigners, I would have respected that. But I've integrated into this culture. It's when you have so many people moving into a country in such a small amount of time, it's impossible for that integration. That's causing a whole lot of issues. And nothing's getting better. Nothing is getting better, it seems. And I think, you know, I can't give you the answers. Of course, I can't give you all the answers, that's for sure. I can only give my 2 cents on how to approach this, but I definitely feel like there's some type of spiritual revolution needed before we get to an actual bloody revolution. Because I think England's pretty close to a civil war. And I actually mean that. I don't think it's far away. I think if you look back throughout history, all the things that needed to be ticked off to kick off a civil war are pretty much there. And we're very close. So I hope a spiritual revolution could do that. And that spiritual revolution is one for people to wake up and understand that they should be chasing more freedom, not less. That means any society that has a government eroding freedoms is a society that's destined to fail. And that is what's happening. And people need to wake up in England. They need to wake up and realize we need sovereignty here. We need less government in our lives, as little as possible. And we need to be willing to do whatever's necessary to get there. Now, and of course, perception. You know, and perception as well. Because another big thing about England is it's like you, especially for the young, it's like you don't feel like there's really ever much to do apart from go out and get pissed. And here's, you know, the other thing about British people is there's a lot of like social suppression. You know, they suppress themselves socially so much, English people, and this was myself as well, living back there. It's like you don't even look people in the eye, you know. You don't, I mean, God forbid you ever try and spark up a conversation with someone in public and they look at you like you've got 3 heads. And of course, because it's quite a low trust society now, because there's so many foreign people, there's so much crime as well, low trust societies, people aren't going to be so open to being so friendly and so on. But there is this feeling like people get through the week, they're socially suppressed, they suppress themselves, they suppress their emotions. You know, you're meant to be polite and everything else. You're meant to you're not meant to be rude, and you're not meant to be loud and obnoxious, of course. And then, so what happens is people get to the week, they work like crazy. I mean, fucking, 8-hour work days, and then you've got the commute, a crazy commute. What's an 8-hour work day? People in England just live to work. That's what they do. They're being brainwashed to live to work. And some people, we listen to this going, 8 hours? 8 hours? That's a holiday. Bro, if you're someone who's like, is proud of the fact that you work 12, 13-hour days every day, again, you're gone. You're lost. You're a brainwashed, lost person right there, in my opinion. We're not meant to be. We're not here to be absolute slaves in that sense, wage slaves in that way. But yeah, this is the lifestyle. They go in, they go to work, they grind, don't talk to anyone, suppress everything. Hustle, gets to the weekend, and then there's this that release, that pressure valve. It's go out and get smashed and get pissed, and you know, and get fights and start friends with other people and fuck each other. And that was it. Now, it's interesting because my best friend just come back to England and he said it's very different now, nightlife. All the nightclubs are closing and everything else, and people don't really, there's not much actual nightlife compared to what it used to be. You know, people just kind of just go to bars and hang out and festivals and whatnot. So it's a bit different. That I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe it's better. Maybe it's going to be less degeneracy in that way. But I felt like growing up, that was kind of the only thing you could do. And so take that away from a lot of young people. Now what's there for them to do? But at the same time, you know, it's glass half full, half empty perspective. You can change perspective. You know, there's so much beauty to the UK, and there is actually so many things you could do, you know, and especially if you're a young lad watching this and you live in the UK, it's like, you know, change your perspective. I wish I could go back when I was 21, 22, 23 and be with my mates and say, do you know what, we're not going to go out on the piss every weekend. Some weekends we're going to go, you know, we're going to go hiking. We're going to go climb a mountain. We're going to, you know, swim in a lake. We're going to go into London and go to the theatre or whatever it is, or have a nice meal at a fancy restaurant together and have a good chat about things. Whatever it is, there's actually a lot to do. There's actually more to do in England than there is here in Cyprus, and now I'm very happy here and I love Cyprus and I don't want to leave. But sometimes me and my missus say, oh, you know, there's so much more to do, like London, so many things to do and so many places to see and. But, so yeah, a little bit perspective change, be a bit more positive, look outside of what's the usual norms for people to do, and then sort of look inside, look internally a little bit and realize, one of the big reasons we live in this politically corrupt, miserable society, and maybe the thing is we need to change the system a little bit, you know, and get rid of this ever-encroaching Big Brother style government. That's a couple of things. So many other things you get into. I mean, I could do multiple videos on it, but also I would not even have anywhere close to all the answers. But sad to see from a distance, sad to see, sad to hear. I'm not sure. Here's the other thing, I'm not sure it can turn around in England. That's the other thing. You know, and unless those couple of things happen it doesn't even need to be the majority. It just needs to be a big enough minority, right? Unless those things happen, get out, guys, get out while you can. Because it's not getting better anytime soon, that's for sure. Yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I mean, the good old days are gone, dude. People can't afford it. People have lost that loving feeling, especially since they woke up and realized they're just slaves and have no real money or resource to speak of. Sorry you missed those days. My friends were not the best, but they had their moments. Peace. Stuff like this, kind of depressing, but you got to face it and move on, guys. Just like my diabetes, my neuropathy, the pain in my chest that comes and goes. You have to just keep going, guys. Just keep going. I don't know what we're going to do with these patches. I might just put them on ice. Because I already got Apache bread. not tonight, but later on, I'm gonna go ahead and let's see. Gonna get on this Apache. See, Apache's pretty good. I took it out last time. And get on this Apache. Just kind of like. So I didn't know it did take that much stamina. See? So if you really want to, you could try to outrun something. But then you'll be without stamina, see? He's without stamina. Anyway. So I'm going to take this guy in the cave and start killing shit. But it's a specific cave over there only. I take this thing anywhere else, it'll probably fucking die. Can I remove those? Can I put these in my inventory? I wanted to see if I can get these things out of my inventory. They don't weigh anything, but let's see. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, it doesn't come out of the inventory. If I drop this, and this, right, and I pick that up, it doesn't put it into my regular inventory. It puts it back in this inventory. So I can't dump it. But it doesn't count against me. It doesn't give me weight. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, I miss going, like, I have a friend who's on Facebook, and he invites me out to go out to with this geeky group that he has, and these guys they go out and they watch a movie and they get something to eat. Every time I go out with them, most of these people, they don't have any money. They're buying the minimum food. My friend, because he has a good job, he's paying for their movie tickets. He's paying for all their movie tickets, dude. He paid for my movie ticket because I can't afford it. And as nice as he is, how did that happen? I thought I disabled you. Yeah, you're disabled. Oh. I'll put these guys in the fridge. I'll do them later. Anyway, my point is that I don't have the resource to really do anything. I managed to get my car's oil changed. That's more important than running around in it, spending money I don't have. Every time I go out with that guy, it's anywhere from $20 to $40, depending on what I eat. I mean, it kind of sucks. You want to go out and you want to have a nice meal and you can't afford it. You can't afford it. I can go maybe buy a sandwich and get a water, maybe a sandwich or a side item or a small salad and get a water. Which, you know, this whole thing has just come to a pointless venture. And that's what life has become. It's a pointless venture. But the thing is, in life, I look at what I do and I manage to feed several animals that nobody else cares about. And I take care of them. You know? And that really matters to me. And that's pretty much what life's about now. Just feed these little animals that nobody cares about and be thankful that you can do it. And that guy looks like he's married, has relationships, has a big family maybe, and all this stuff. I don't have any of that. I have nothing. So in a way, I have a much lighter burden than most people. The disease that I have is probably the heaviest burden I have. The finances are breaking even, but I don't expect much. Not in this world. I would have to get lucky on YouTube. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call it. It's already been about an hour and 5 minutes. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And take care. Bye-bye.